Wrestlers are complaining about co-booker Dutch Mantel again. They say that he is stubborn and insists that things be done his way. You can't even suggest anything to him, one wrestler said. A second wrestler said that Mantel and TNA officials seem to have the take your money, keep your mouth shut, or we'll leave you home attitude.
Well, you know what? That's a good attitude, maybe, that people should have.
Others pointed out that he seems paranoid and that he won't let anyone spend too much time talking with Jeff Jarrett before he sticks his nose in, though it's also possible that Jarrett has asked him to run interference on his behalf. Either way, Mantel is one of the least popular authority figures in the TNA dressing room.
Do you think Tony should bring in Dutch Mantel to be his bad guy?
I wonder, is that like what Jeff is doing here? It's like, just be my bad guy, interrupt if some dude is talking to me, say no to them. Because every wrestling company does, like, traditionally it's the head of talent relations is the bad guy. It's always the guy set up for the fall, except when they're really horrible people, which is perhaps the case in John Laurinaitis's. But for the most part, wrestling companies need someone to say no, and it's not usually the CEO owner, because they need to create, like, cultivate relationships with these people and work with them. So you just have someone below you just constantly say no.
What do you feel about that role? Would you think it's a necessary role in pro wrestling, or do you think it's maybe antiquated?
The dude who says no?
Yeah, the bad guy. The guy that, like, hey, when these people go do their podcasts, I was going to say shoot interviews, but it's podcasts now for sure. And they go on there, once you get canned, this is the person you badmouth.
I think, like, it's not a noble role, it's an ignoble role in a lot of ways. But, yeah, I think you do. Because, like, wrestlers are babies, and they will always get mad. And I think you should always have someone they can get mad at so that you can maintain a good relationship with them while still being the puppet master.
I think it's like you almost don't need it in any other role, like any other business. But wrestling is like a weird hybrid of talent meets opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And when people perceive their talent to outweigh the response they're getting from someone and someone's opinion, there's inherently going to be like resentment there. And that's not really something you get in many other industries. Because with sport, it's like, if you're the best at it, you're just going to succeed regardless.
Mm.
And if it's acting or something, it's like, if you're really good at it, you'll succeed at it. But with wrestling, it's like, even if you're like the best at the wrestling in the company, there's no guarantee that you'll get a push that reflects that.
And it's funny, like, even during the pandemic, when Vince McMahon was firing a frankly absurd number of people, there was the constant, like, oh, but Vince loved me. It's like, no, he didn't. He fired you.
It's because, like, it was Laurinaitis. And then, like, he had two fall guys. Because from the wrestling perspective, he had Laurinaitis to take the heat. And then, from the fan perspective, they all blame Nick Khan.
Yeah. When isn't it funny that a bunch of people that were fired under Vince have been returned under Nick Khan?
Yeah. And they're all doing so much.
Yeah, your big Dexter Lumis cage match stares. Who doesn't love that?
Yeah, on the very good wrestling show, Monday Night Raw, that everyone loves now.
On the topic of vacant stares into the distance, observers say it appears that Vince Russo has basically given up trying to convince Jeff Jarrett to make booking changes. He just doesn't care anymore, noted one wrestler, who also said he couldn't blame Russo for developing that attitude.
Oh, well, maybe just do your role, man.
I hate him in his role, so maybe don't do that either.
Although he's not like all over the show anymore.
There is less of him.
So I haven't mind Russo because I've basically, like, he doesn't do anything important.
He's still doing that thing where every time he's on camera, he looks like the most conflicted, sad man on earth, and I want to punch him.
I think that's just his real life attitude coming through.
Yeah, there's a moment on the last Impact where we'll talk about he has a big feud with Dusty basically going on, and Dusty's shouting at him, and Russo just has his head on his hands leaning on a table. And it's like, this dude has given up. This dude does not care about this anymore.
I mean, wouldn't you be in the same position if Dusty was like reaming you out?
I think it's supposed to be like a character thing, but you can tell this man is just checked out of this now, isn't he?
Yeah. I don't blame him.
He's not even getting his wacky, dumb ideas on TV anymore. He occasionally gets favors called in, like Vito is a favor to Vinny Rue, but also Vito's not very good on these shows either, so...
They should have vetoed him.
Ah.